What's up guys, this is Nat. Today I'm here to continue the 2025 lessons learned video, and I am here all glittery and silver because today I have my end of year ballet presentation and it's like 9 o'clock and I'm already kind of ready. I'm not completely ready because I have to put fake eyelashes and then like better my makeup and stuff and put on my costume. But I'm almost ready and I am super excited because of many things I cannot tell you guys right now, but you guys will know soon enough. I spent the entire July just focusing on producing more Sing With Me karaoke videos, and then comes that whole lesson that I shared about January that I should have rested more. So as soon as August came, I still felt a lot tired because I had spent the entire July either studying for the SAT or studying for normal school stuff or producing Sing With Me karaoke videos or literally doing like many things that didn't involve resting. So that's something I learned once again, and I hope that like this holiday I'm able to rest without doing other things that make it impossible for me to rest. And then August came. And we have a sort of internal joke as students that August is the endless month because it feels really long because it has no holidays and it's the first month back after the winter break. Because I had spent 1 month away from school, I felt really energized in the way that I wanted to be in school and that I wanted to use my notebooks and I wanted to learn more about physics and chemistry and all of that. So it was a good month for me to learn. Actually, in August, we had our first application process that allowed more students to enter the club, which was really exciting because up until August, the club had me and other girls as members, but I think it was a total of 7 people. And then in August, we opened that application process and it was like really scary because we thought that there were 2 main scenarios. The first scenario was one where nobody would be interested in joining the club, and then we would open this huge application process and there would be no applications. And the second scenario would be that lots of people would be interested and we wouldn't be able to create enough positions for everybody. And what actually happened was like an in-between scenario. We had lots of applications, but not like too much amount of applications. We were able to offer fixed positions for everybody who is interested. And it was so cool because from August onwards, we had around 20 people in the club. And that was amazing because, of course, like lots of people, they have different ways to contribute. And it was just so amazing to see how students that I didn't know and that I would not have known if not for the club had different skills. So people had editing skills and they actually liked editing, and people had communication skills or just brainstorming skills. So it was amazing to see how students that I see every day in school but never really talk to have all of these different abilities and actually wanted to contribute their skills to the club because they were given the opportunity to do so. So the lesson learned is that you should always hope the best out of the situation. So we were hoping the 2 worst scenarios, that nobody would apply and that everybody would apply, and we were not going to be able to offer positions for everybody. So we were hoping for the worst case scenarios, and sometimes you just have to hope for the best case scenario. I read this quote a few days ago that went something like this: if you have the energy to worry about the worst case scenario, you also have the energy to worry, like not worry, but think about the best case scenario. So why not spend your energy on good things? If you're gonna spend that energy anyway, choose to spend it in good things. So I guess that was the lesson learned in August. If you have energy, spend it on good thoughts and they will happen. And then in September, something really nice happened to the club as well. We were able to gather 2 international partnerships which have been amazing to the club and have truly escalated the impact of our club and my impact, honestly. Because I've been wanting to be a change maker for a long time. I do consider myself as a change maker because, as Melati Wijsen describes in her book, which is amazing, she has a book called Change Starts Now. I'm gonna put the link in the description box below. For you to be a change maker, you just have to wake up every day with the mentality of wanting to make the world around you a better place. And I've had that mentality ever since I can remember, especially from the moment that I started worrying a lot about climate change. So I guess I am a change maker. I have the environmental club and I work as an intern and I do some things in my daily life to try and be more eco-friendly. But it was only recently that I was truly able to scale my impact to an actually global level. And I'm still on the path to do that and to consolidate that. But I'm on my way. And it was really cool to be able to do that. And the lesson learned in September was like Instagram and social media is so important. It can be hurtful for you if you spend a lot of time in social media, which was what I used to do like a few months ago, but I think I'm being able to heal myself from that addiction right now. But having social media as a change maker, an artist, or just as a community, a group, collective, it is super important to showcase your work and gather those partnerships and funding and sponsorships. You should try and focus on the good things that social media can bring you, and you should focus so much on those things that you won't have time to be addicted to social media, and you won't have time to scroll away endless horrible things that will make you sad. Because of those partnerships, I was able to dedicate, and I had to dedicate so much of my time to new things in the club and to new things in my personal life that I didn't have time to be addicted to social media, and I didn't have time to scroll away and see horrible reels that would make me sad, which was good. So the lesson learned in September was social media is important, and you just have to see how it's important and focus on those benefits of social media instead of scrolling away endless horrible things. If you're able to do that, you will naturally heal from that addiction of dopamine cycles and all of that social media gives you, because you will need to focus your time and your energy on the good things that social media can bring you. In October, it was the month that I started to freak out a little, because all the things I do in my life started to add up, and I had to rehearse for this ballet presentation and then my singing presentations and then a lot of club work I had to do, and I had a lot of tasks to delegate and stuff to coordinate and a lot of school stuff, so it was getting harder in some subjects. I started having some difficult physics lessons that I like physics and I like learning in general, but it was really focused, and it was at the point that I knew I had to study that and I wanted to study that topic, but I just had so many other things to do that I felt internally conflicted on whether I had to focus on that class or just try and figure out inside my mind the next things I had to do once I got home. It was a difficult month in that sense, but I got through it. And my grades kind of dropped down a little. But the lesson learned is that I am smarter than I think I am, because I naturally had to dedicate less time to school, and I had to dedicate less time to just sitting in my desk and reading textbooks and researching biology videos and making slide presentations and all the things that I used to do in my free time to study and be an A student. Because last year, I just studied a lot. And I still think I study a lot because I value study so much. And I'm present in all classes. Like, if you know me, if you've seen me in classes, people say that I'm a nerd, I'm always paying attention and I'm always raising my hands. I even have to control myself sometimes, because otherwise I would just be raising my hand all the time and then not letting other people speak. I'm very participative in classes, but these past 2 months, I've just had so much on my mind and on my plate that I haven't been able to be that same A student that I've always been. And the reason why I've been that A student all my life was because I've always dedicated so much of my time to studying. Last year, I would spend 7 hours every Saturday and every Sunday studying. I would just sit in this very desk and open my textbooks and read and do exercises and take notes and watch videos and make videos explaining those contents. And I loved it because I love studying. And because I've stopped doing that, it doesn't mean that I don't like studying anymore. It just means that I've got some other things that matter to me just as much as studying. So I've had to split my time into all those things. And at first, I struggled a lot with it because that meant my grades would drop. And because I've always been an A student, I've always gotten good grades, and I've always been complimented by teachers, and I've always gotten scholarships and all of that. So the fact that I had to accept that because I was going to start focusing on other things in my life, my grades would have to drop, it was really difficult because I wanted to keep my grades average 10 and average A plus and do the other things. But that wasn't possible because the only reason why I had that average grade 10 and A plus was because I spent hours and hours and hours studying. And I couldn't do that anymore. So my grades naturally dropped, and I spent a lot of time worrying about that and feeling unworthy and feeling like I was failing. But then even when I didn't study as much as I used to for some specific exams, I realized that I did really well. There was this specific test, it was a chemistry test, and I did study for it because I paid attention to classes and I took notes and I read the textbook and I did exercises, but I didn't spend a total of 5 hours, on the weekend before the exam, studying for it. But then I did super well in the test. I didn't get an A plus, I didn't ace the test, but it was almost like an A plus. And it was an A because in Brazil we grade our tests from 0 to 10. So I got a 9.5, which is a very good grade. And I didn't study as much as I thought I needed to study, and I got this good grade, which made me realize that I'm smart. I only got that good grade because I paid attention to classes and I did my exercise and all of that. But I think I just have to trust my potential a little more. Even when I don't study as much as I think I need to study, I know what I'm doing. I'm able to interpret questions and I'm able to go back in my memories and remember what my teacher told me and taught me. So the lesson learned was that I need to trust my abilities more. If I paid attention to classes and I did my best in the way that I studied as much as I could in that specific moment of my life, I need to trust that and go take the test, trusting the ability that I will do my best and that my brain cells will do their best also to remember everything that I've been presented to and take that test with all that I got. And then the past month in November, we had some really cool experiences with the club. We had some presentations to small kids regarding that international partnership, and that was really, really cool. I was hugged by a small kid, and I really loved that hug. I'm not really a hugging person. I don't really like hugs, only from people that I'm really close to, because I don't know, I don't like that physical proximity. But it was a small kid and she wanted to hug me, so I let her hug me, and it was one of the best hugs I ever got. The week that we were doing those presentations to the kids, I was feeling a bit worried with my grades because it was the final week of classes and our grades were being computed and added to the digital system. So that was it. There was nothing else I could do to improve my grades and my GPA. So I was kind of worried about that. I was doing everything else in my life with my mind running back on that thought of my grades and my GPA. The opportunity that I had to focus on those kids and teach them about plastic pollution and all those environmental related topics that are really easy for kids to understand and try to focus on, like recycling, it was really good because for them I felt like a superhero, I felt like a really special person who knew so much about sustainability and who was such a good person to just go there and teach those kids for free out of their own interest to teach them about recycling and all of that. It made me feel so good because it felt like a really special thing to do for those kids. But really, it was just special for me because I really wanted to try and impact those kids in whatever way I could. And I guess sometimes you just have to do something different than what you're used to try and see meaning and figure out your thoughts on your own regular life. So I had spent this entire year focusing on school and the club and my hobbies and all of that. And the moment that I stepped out of this zone and I went to speak to those kids, I suddenly understood that all that I'm doing here is worthy and it's important, and that I'm a good person, that I'm doing the best I can. So I guess the lesson learned was that you're doing better than you think you are. And even when you don't really admire yourself and when you think you're doing horribly, there are people who admire you and who wonder how you're doing everything you're doing. This was another quote that I read the past few days. I'm a big fan of quotes if you haven't noticed it yet. But right now, I think I need to go for my belly presentation. But this was the video about the lessons learned in 2025. In the next video, I have to tell you guys about the lessons learned in December of 2025 because I'm currently living December. So I cannot speak about the lessons learned in December because December hasn't gone through yet. I hope you've enjoyed these 2 videos, and as soon as I get some time, I'm gonna edit them a little bit and upload to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!